Your phone rings at 11 o'clock at night. The caller ID says it is your granddaughter's number. You answer, and the voice on the other end, her voice, her exact voice, the way she says grandma or grandpa, is panicked. She says she was in a car accident. Nobody was seriously hurt, but she sideswiped another car and the driver is threatening to press charges. There is a lawyer on the line. He says his name is something official sounding, and he tells you that if you can wire $15,000 tonight, before a court date tomorrow morning, this can be resolved quietly without her getting a record. She is crying. She says, "Please do not tell Mom and Dad. It will devastate them. Just this once." She promises she will pay it back. You wire the money. Of course you do. She is your granddaughter. And then the next morning you call to check on her. And she answers the phone from her apartment, where she has been all night, safe and asleep, having no idea what you are talking about. The voice you heard was not her. It was a mathematical replica, built from 3 seconds of audio, a clip she posted on Instagram last summer, fed into an artificial intelligence tool that costs less than a streaming subscription to use. The caller ID was spoofed, the lawyer was fake. The court date never existed, and the $15,000 is gone. This is the grandparent scam in 2026, and it is not the clumsy, easily spotted phone fraud that most people imagine when they hear the words phone scam. It has been rebuilt from the ground up using artificial intelligence, and it is targeting your parents and your parents' parents in every state right now. Today we are going to go inside the mechanics of this scam completely, not just the surface version but the full setup, how scammers find their targets, where they get the voice samples, how the AI works, and what the psychological playbook looks like. We are going to cover the 5 most dangerous scam categories targeting older adults today with the real loss figures from the FBI's most recent data, and we are going to end with a specific practical protection plan, including one defense that cybersecurity experts say is the single most effective tool against AI voice cloning, and it costs nothing. This is educational information only, not legal or financial advice, but this may be one of the most practically important videos we have made, because the families who understand how this works are far less likely to fall for it. Let's start with the numbers, because they are the reason this matters. The scale in 2025. In 2025, Americans aged 60 and older filed over 201,000 complaints with the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. Their reported losses totaled $7.7 billion. That is a 59% increase from the year before. The average loss per victim was $38,500. More than 12,400 older Americans lost over $100,000 each in a single year. These are only the reported losses. Most experts estimate the actual total is significantly higher, because elder fraud victims frequently do not report, out of shame, out of embarrassment, out of a belief that nothing can be done. The largest single category of loss for older adults in 2025 was investment fraud, primarily fake cryptocurrency platforms, at $3.5 billion reported. Tech support scams came second at over $1 billion. Confidence and romance scams accounted for $584 million. And then there is a newer category that the FBI began tracking specifically in 2025: AI-facilitated fraud. In 2025 alone, the IC3 received over 22,000 complaints referencing AI-related fraud, with losses exceeding $893 million. Within that, distress scams using voice cloning, the grandparent scam, generated over $5 million in documented losses. That number almost certainly understates reality by a wide margin, given how rarely these crimes are reported. The FBI puts it plainly: scammers are deploying fake social profiles, voice clones, identification documents, and believable videos to defraud Americans. The technology that used to require nation-state resources is now available for free, or nearly free, to anyone who goes looking for it. Let's look at exactly how they use it, how the AI grandparent scam actually works. Step by step. Most people who have heard about voice cloning scams imagine something like this. A scammer dials a random number, pretends to be a grandchild, and hopes for the best. That is not what is happening in 2026. What is actually happening is a 4-stage operation, and by the time the phone rings, 3 of those stages are already complete. Stage 1 is target selection. Scammers do not dial randomly. They research. They use data broker websites, the same sites that sell your name, address, phone number, and family relationships to marketers, to build profiles. A scammer can find out that a particular 80-year-old woman lives at a specific address, has a granddaughter who lives in another city, and has a landline phone. This information is not hacked, It is purchased. Data brokers aggregate it from public records, voter registrations, social media, and commercial databases, and they sell it for a few dollars per record. Stage 2 is audio collection. Now the scammer needs the grandchild's voice. They go to her social media, a Facebook video from a family barbecue, a TikTok she posted, a YouTube clip from a school event, a voicemail greeting. 3 seconds of clear audio is enough. In some AI tools, the threshold is even lower. The AI analyzes pitch, cadence, accent, breathing patterns, emotional inflection, the specific way she draws out certain syllables. It builds a voice model. The clone is not similar to the grandchild's voice. It is her voice. Stage 3 is script preparation. The scammer writes a scenario, typically an arrest, a car accident, or a medical emergency. They research local court systems, use realistic attorney names, and include specific geographic details pulled from the data broker profile. The scenario is designed to be specific enough to feel real and urgent enough to prevent the target from stopping to verify. Stage 4 is the call. The scammer dials. The caller ID is spoofed to show the grandchild's real number or a local area code that looks familiar. The cloned voice delivers the opening lines, the panic, the recognition, the plea. Then control is handed off to an accomplice playing the attorney, the bail bondsman, or the court officer. The accomplice maintains the pressure and directs the target toward payment. And here is the most important psychological mechanism in the entire operation: urgency plus secrecy. The target is told they must act immediately before a deadline that will not wait, and they are told not to tell anyone else. Both of these instructions serve the same purpose. They eliminate the verification step, because verification is the only thing that stops this scam. That is worth repeating. The entire operation, the data research, the voice cloning, the scripted scenario, the spoofed caller ID, is designed to prevent one thing: the target hanging up and calling the grandchild directly. The 5 scam categories you need to know in 2026. The AI-enhanced grandparent scam is the most viscerally disturbing because it weaponizes love and family. But it is one of 5 major scam categories devastating older adults right now. The first is investment fraud, the single largest loss category for older adults at $3.5 billion in 2025. The most common version is the fake cryptocurrency investment platform. A contact arrives through social media or a dating app, builds a relationship over weeks or months, then introduces an investment opportunity with remarkable returns. The victim deposits money. The platform shows the balance growing. When they try to withdraw, they are told to pay a tax or a fee first. The platform disappears. The scammer disappears. The FBI calls this category of scam pig butchering, the deliberate fattening of a target before the slaughter. The second is the tech support and phantom hacker scam. It often begins with a pop-up warning that the device is infected. The scammer talks the victim into downloading remote access software, then claims their bank account has been compromised. A second caller pretends to be from the bank confirming the threat. A third may pretend to be from a government agency. They instruct the victim to transfer their savings to a secure account. Tech support scams cost older adults over $1 billion in 2025. The third is government impersonation. Someone calls claiming to be from the IRS, Social Security, Medicare, or law enforcement. They say the victim's Social Security number has been linked to criminal activity. Their benefits are about to be suspended. There is a warrant for their arrest. The only resolution requires immediate payment in gift cards, wire transfer, or cash. Government impersonation scams cost Americans $798 million in 2025. One fact to remember: no legitimate government agency will ever demand immediate payment over the phone, in gift cards, or cryptocurrency. That is a rule with no exceptions. The fourth is the romance scam. An attractive profile appears on a dating site or social media. Articulate, attentive, often claiming to work abroad. Weeks pass, months, then an emergency. A business deal fell through, a medical crisis, a situation requiring urgent money. Amounts start small and grow. By the time the victim understands, they may have sent tens of thousands of dollars to someone who never existed. In 2026, the fake romantic partner may be powered by an AI chatbot that never sleeps, never becomes impatient, and never breaks character. The fifth is the recovery scam, the cruelest variant. After someone has already been victimized, a new contact reaches out claiming to be a lawyer or recovery specialist who can retrieve the stolen money for an upfront fee. They steal again from someone already devastated. Recovery scams are among the fastest growing fraud categories in 2026. precisely because the pool of victims desperate to recover their losses keeps growing. Why older adults are specifically targeted. This is not accidental. Older adults are targeted for specific reasons that every family should understand. First, assets. Americans between 65 and 74 hold a median net worth of approximately $409,000, more than 10 times the median for adults under 35. Scammers go where the money is. Second, social isolation. Loneliness creates vulnerability to anyone who offers connection, warmth, or attention, which is precisely what romance scammers and investment fraud perpetrators are trained to provide. Third, trust in authority. Older adults may be more likely to comply with someone who sounds official or claims government authority. Scammers exploit this systematically. Fourth, emotional orientation toward family. A grandparent's instinct to protect a grandchild is not a weakness. It is one of the most profound expressions of love that exists. Scammers weaponize it because it reliably bypasses rational deliberation. And fifth, underreporting. Because older fraud victims often do not report, scammers face lower consequences, which means more investment in these tactics, more sophisticated tools, more targets. The conversation your parent does not want to have and how to have it. Most adult children know they should talk to their parents about scams. Most do not, or they do it in a way that backfires. The conversation fails when it communicates that the parent is not capable of protecting themselves. Nobody wants to feel they are being managed rather than respected. The conversation works when it is framed correctly. Do not start with statistics. Start with a story, something that happened to someone else, a neighbor, a news story, a community member. Not your parent. The point is not that your parent is vulnerable. The point is that these operations are specifically engineered to defeat the defenses that everyone has. Emphasize that the most recent victims of these scams are not people who were confused or impaired. They are people who heard a voice that sounded exactly like someone they love. That shifts the conversation from capacity to technology, and it is accurate. Then introduce the tool. The family safe word. Cybersecurity experts in 2026 are nearly unanimous. The single most effective defense against an AI voice cloning scam is a family safe word. Here's how it works. Your family agrees on a specific, unusual word or short phrase that only people in the family would know. Not a name, not a birthday, not a pet's name that might appear on social media. Something genuinely obscure. A word from a shared memory, an inside reference, something with no public trail. If you ever receive a call from a family member claiming to be in an emergency, you ask for the safe word. If the caller can provide it, you proceed. If they cannot, you hang up and call the family member's known number directly. No AI voice clone can produce a word it has never heard. That is the entire defense. It requires no technology, no subscription, no hardware. It requires one conversation and 30 seconds. Set it up this week. Write it down somewhere private. Make sure every family member who might receive one of these calls knows what it is. Additional protections. Limit the voice footprint. AI voice cloning requires publicly available audio. Consider setting social media accounts with voice or video content to private. Pay particular attention to voicemail greetings. They are clean, high-quality audio samples accessible to anyone who calls the number. Set up a trusted contact at financial institutions. FINRA rules allow brokerage firms to place a temporary hold on disbursements when they suspect financial exploitation. Setting up a named trusted contact gives the institution a way to flag unusual activity before money leaves. Know the universal red flags. Any request for payment via gift cards, wire transfer, cryptocurrency, or cash delivered to a courier is a scam signal. No legitimate institution, not a court, not the IRS, not a bank, will ever demand payment in gift cards. This rule has no exceptions. Verify before you act. The urgency in these calls is manufactured. Hang up first. Call back on a number you already have. If the situation is real, 30 seconds of verification costs nothing. If it is a scam, those 30 seconds save everything. Report every incident at ic3.gov and reportfraud.ftc.gov, even if no money was lost. Every report helps agencies identify patterns and track operations. If it has already happened, contact the bank immediately. Some transfers can be reversed if the institution is notified within hours. The FBI's financial fraud kill chain achieved roughly a 50% recovery rate on flagged transactions in 2025. Speed matters more than anything. File a complaint at ic3.gov and with your state's Attorney General. Do not pay for recovery services. Anyone promising to retrieve stolen funds for an upfront fee is running the recovery scam, a second fraud targeting victims of the first. And do not let your parent carry this alone. Being deceived by a sophisticated AI-powered operation is not a reflection of intelligence or weakness. It is a reflection of how engineered these attacks are. The conversation, revised. Let us go back to the call that came at 11 o'clock at night. In the version we opened with, the grandmother wired the money. She had no way to know the voice was not her granddaughter's. She had never heard of voice cloning. She did what any grandmother would do. Here is a different version. In this one, her daughter had a conversation with her 6 months earlier, the one that started with a news story, not a lecture. In this one, the grandmother and her granddaughter had agreed on a safe word. Something silly from a family trip years ago. A word only the family would know. So when the call came and the voice said, "Grandma, I need your help," she took a breath. She said, "What is our safe word?" The caller hesitated. She said it again. Then she hung up. Then she called her granddaughter directly. Her granddaughter answered from her apartment. She had been asleep for 2 hours. The grandmother did not wire the $15,000. She filed a report with the FBI, and the next morning she called her daughter and told her what had happened. That version starts with one conversation. It costs nothing. Next video teaser. We have spent the last 2 videos inside elder financial exploitation by trusted agents inside the family, and now by sophisticated outside scammers. Next video, we are stepping back to look at the full legal document picture, the 5 most critical decisions every family needs to make before a health crisis hits, the order, the timing, and the conversations that have to happen before any of it means anything. We will see you there. Disclaimer, spoken. Everything in this video is for educational purposes only. It is not legal, financial, or medical advice. For your specific situation, please consult a certified elder law attorney at NALA.org and a qualified financial or legal professional. To report fraud, visit ic3.gov or reportfraud.ftc.gov.